The hospital room door burst open, and Luca stumbled in, his face pale as a ghost, clutching the phone that had just delivered the news. Mark lay there, tubes snaking from his arms, his once vibrant eyes now dull under the fluorescent lights of St. Mary's in downtown Chicago. In that instant, Luca knew the accident wasn't just a random hit and run. It was the culmination of secrets that had been festering for years, and he was about to be blamed for all of it. Luca dropped to his knees beside the bed, grabbing Mark's hand. "I'm here, babe. Don't you dare leave me like this." But Mark's family was already swarming in behind him. His mother, Evelyn, with her sharp gaze, and his brother, Tom, fists clenched like he was ready for a fight. Evelyn's voice cut through the air like a knife. This is your fault. If he hadn't been with you, none of this would have happened." Tom stepped forward, his broad shoulders blocking the door. "Yeah, Luca, you've been nothing but trouble since day one. Dragging him into your world, away from us. Now look at him." Luca felt the weight of their accusations, but he bit his tongue. He couldn't tell them the truth, not yet. Not while Mark was fighting for his life. But deep down, he knew this was only the beginning of the storm. Luca and Mark had met 5 years ago at a community center in the Windy City, where Luca volunteered as a counselor for LGBTQ youth. Mark, fresh out of college and struggling with his identity in a conservative family, had wandered in looking for answers. Their connection was instant. A shared laugh over bad coffee turned into late-night talks, then stolen kisses under the city lights. But Mark's family, rooted in old-school values from their suburban enclave in Naperville, saw Luca as the intruder, the city boy corrupting their golden child. Evelyn, a devout Catholic who ran the local church bake sales, had always dreamed of Mark settling down with a nice girl, producing grandkids. Tom, the protective older brother and a cop in the Chicago PD, viewed Luca's openness about his sexuality as a threat to the family's reputation. "We don't air our laundry like that," Tom had said during their first awkward family dinner. Mark had defended Luca then, but the cracks were already forming. As the doctors updated them on Mark's condition, internal bleeding, possible brain trauma from the car crash, Luca replayed the night before in his mind. They'd argued fiercely in their small apartment in Wrigleyville. Mark had been distant lately, canceling plans, working late at his marketing job. "Is there someone else?" Luca had demanded, his voice breaking. Mark had denied it, but his eyes flickered with guilt. Then, storming out, Mark had grabbed his keys and driven off into the night. Hours later, the call came. His car wrapped around a pole on Lakeshore Drive. The family huddled in the waiting room, Evelyn praying softly with her rosary. Tom paced, shooting glares at Luca. "You pushed him too far. Always wanting more, marriage, kids, the whole parade. He wasn't ready for that." Luca wanted to scream that it was Mark who proposed last year, in a quiet park under the stars, but the ring on his finger felt like a noose now. Instead, he sat silently, the guilt gnawing at him. Had he been too insistent? Too blind to Mark's inner turmoil? A nurse interrupted, saying Mark was stable but in a coma. Evelyn turned to Luca. "You should go. This is family time." The word family stung like a slap. Luca wasn't legally anything to Mark, just a partner in a state where same-sex marriage was legal, but without the papers he was invisible. He stood, legs shaky. "I'll be back. He needs me." As he left, Tom's whisper followed. "Coward. Running when it gets tough." Back home, Luca collapsed on the couch, surrounded by reminders of their life. Photos from pride parades, the adoption brochures they'd pored over. But digging through Mark's desk for insurance papers, he found something that shattered him. A hidden phone with texts from Jay. Intimate messages, plans to meet. "Can't wait to see you again. Miss your touch." Luca's world tilted. Mark had been cheating? With another man? The betrayal hit like a freight train, but worse was the realization. This Jay might know something about the crash. He dialed the number, heart pounding. A voice answered, smooth and unfamiliar. "Who is this?" Luca demanded answers, but Jay hung up. Determined, Luca traced the number online. It led to Jason Hale, a colleague at Mark's firm. The pieces clicked. Late nights weren't just work. But why? Mark had everything with Luca, or so he thought. The next day, back at the hospital, tensions escalated. Evelyn confronted Luca in the hallway. "I know about your fight. The neighbors heard. You drove him away." Luca's temper flared. "You think you know everything? Your precious son has secrets you'd hate." But he stopped short, not ready to expose Mark's affair. Tom overheard, grabbing Luca's arm. "What secrets? Spill it or get out." Luca pulled away, storming into Mark's room alone. Why Mark? Why him? Tears fell as he held Mark's hand, the monitors beeping steadily. In that moment, Luca faced his first real choice. Protect Mark's image for the family, or seek the truth that could destroy them all. Little did he know, Jason was already on his way to the hospital, carrying a secret that would upend everything. Jason arrived at St. Mary's looking polished in his suit, but his eyes betrayed anxiety. Luca spotted him in the lobby, recognizing the face from a quick social media search. "You're Jay?" Luca said flatly, blocking his path. Jason froze, glancing around. "This isn't the place. Please." But Luca wasn't backing down. "My fiancé is in a coma because of whatever you two had going on. Talk." They stepped into a quiet corner cafe across the street. Jason, mid-30s with a confident air, sighed. "It wasn't serious. Just an escape." Mark was stressed. "Family work, you." Luca's fists clenched under the table. "Escape from what? We were happy." Jason leaned in. "Were you?" He talked about the pressure. Your push for adoption coming out fully to his folks. He loved you, but he felt trapped. The words landed like punches. Luca remembered their talks about starting a family, how Mark hesitated, citing his mother's expectations. "She wants grandkids the right way," Mark had said. Luca had brushed it off, assuring him times had changed. But now, Jason's revelation painted a different picture. Mark seeking solace in secrecy, afraid of disappointing everyone. Back at the hospital, Evelyn was livid when she saw Luca return with red eyes. "Where were you? Abandoning him again?" Tom chimed in. "Probably off with his friends, living that lifestyle while Mark suffers." The homophobia was subtle but cutting, wrapped in concern. Luca ignored them, slipping into Mark's room. He whispered, "I know about Jason, but I still love you. Wake up so we can fix this." Days blurred into a vigil. Luca took leave from his job at the youth center, sleeping in the waiting room chair. The family tolerated him, but whispers grew. Nurses gossiped about the boyfriend drama. One evening, Tom cornered Luca. "Mom's talking to lawyers. If Mark doesn't wake up, you're out. No rights." Luca's heart sank. Without a will or marriage certificate, he was powerless. Mark had promised to handle the paperwork, but procrastination won. Jason texted Luca later, "Meet me. There's more." At a nearby park, Jason confessed. "The night of the crash, Mark was coming to end things with me. He chose you, but he was upset. Said his family found out about us somehow." Luca's mind raced. "How?" Jason shrugged. "Maybe his phone." He was paranoid. The implication hit. If the family knew about the affair, did they confront Mark, pushing him over the edge? Confronting Evelyn that night, Luca chose his words carefully. "Did you talk to Mark before the crash?" Her face paled. "What are you implying?" Tom intervened. "Back off. You're the one who argued with him." But Luca saw the crack in their facade. Evelyn's hands trembled. "He called me, upset, said he needed advice about his life choices." The tension peaked when Mark stirred slightly, mumbling incoherently. The family rushed in, but Luca was shoved aside. "Let the real family handle this," Tom barked. Hurt, Luca retreated, calling his best friend, Sarah, for support. "They're erasing me," he cried. Sarah, a fierce ally, urged, "Fight back. Show them who you are." Inspired, Luca dug deeper. He accessed Mark's email with a guest password, their anniversary. There, amid work messages, were drafts to his family. "Mom, Tom, I love Luca. We're building a life. Please accept us."
Unsinn.
Heartbreaking. But also emails from Jason, confirming the affair started 6 months ago, during a work trip. Mark's responses showed regret. This has to stop. I can't lose Luca. Armed with this, Luca faced the family in the waiting room. Mark chose me, over and over. But you made him hide. Evelyn gasped. Hide what? Luca hesitated, then revealed the affair gently. He was seeing someone else because he couldn't be honest with you. Tom's face reddened. Lies. You're making this up to shift blame. But Evelyn broke down.
I suspected.
He hinted on the phone. I told him to end it, to come home. The admission hung heavy. Had Evelyn's words driven Mark to recklessness? Luca felt a mix of vindication and sorrow. Your judgment pushed him away. Tom stormed out, muttering slurs under his breath. Alone with Evelyn, Luca softened. We both love him. Let's focus on that. But the rift widened, and Luca wondered if reconciliation was possible. As Mark's condition improved slightly, doctors optimistic about waking soon, Luca grappled with his own demons. Betrayal from Mark, hostility from the family. Was love worth this pain? Jason called again. I'm sorry. I'll stay away. But the damage was done. Luca deleted the contact, vowing to rebuild if Mark woke up. Mark opened his eyes a week later, groggy and confused. Luca. His voice was weak, but it was music to Luca's ears. Rushing to his side, Luca squeezed his hand. I'm here. You're okay. But the family flooded in, Evelyn kissing Mark's forehead. My boy. Thank God. Tom hovered protectively. Mark's gaze shifted between them, sensing the tension. In private moments, Luca confronted Mark gently. I know about Jason. Mark's face crumpled. I'm so sorry. It was a mistake. I was scared of everything. Tears flowed as Mark explained. The pressure from work, family expectations, and Luca's enthusiasm for the future overwhelming him. I didn't want to disappoint you. Jason was easy. No strings. Luca's heart ached. But you did disappoint me. We could have talked. The confession sparked a raw conversation. Mark admitted his internalized shame, rooted in childhood sermons about sin. Mom and Tom, they love me, but conditionally. Luca nodded, sharing his own past. Coming out at 18, losing friends, but gaining freedom. We can face them together. Mark promised change, but doubt lingered in Luca's eyes. Evelyn overheard snippets and demanded answers. In a heated family meeting in the hospital lounge, truth spilled. Mark, from his bed via speakerphone, came clean. I'm gay. I love Luca. And yes, I cheated. But that's on me, not him. Evelyn clutched her cross. How could you? After all we've taught you. Tom exploded. This is bullshit. You're confused because of him. Luca defended. No, Tom's the confused one, hiding behind badges and biases. Tom lunged, but nurses intervened. Evelyn wept. I just wanted you happy, Mark. In the right way. Mark's voice cracked. This is the right way for me. The room fell silent, the air thick with unspoken regrets. Discharged days later, Mark moved back to their apartment, weak but determined. Luca cared for him, meds, meals, therapy sessions. But shadows loomed. Tom stopped calling. Evelyn visited sparingly, her conversations laced with judgment. Think about your soul, she'd say. Mark struggled with guilt, nightmares of the crash replaying. I almost died hiding who I am. Luca encouraged therapy, where Mark unpacked layers. Societal stigma in their Midwest bubble, where pride was a distant spectacle. Chicago's progressive, but not our suburb, Mark said. Luca shared stories from the youth center, kids facing rejection, some homeless. We're lucky. We have each other. But Luca's trust wavered. He checked Mark's phone obsessively, igniting arguments. I said I'm done with secrets, Mark yelled. Jason resurfaced via email, apologizing and offering closure. Mark deleted it, showing Luca. See? Committed. But the incident stirred old wounds. Meanwhile, Evelyn plotted subtly, inviting Mark to family events without Luca, whispering about normal life. Tom, investigating the crash unofficially, hinted at foul play. Witnesses saw another car, maybe related to your mess. Suspicion grew. Was Jason involved? Luca met Jason one last time at a neutral coffee shop. Did you follow Mark that night? Jason denied.
No.
But he mentioned threats, anonymous notes at work. Chilled, Luca reported to Tom, who dismissed. Probably your imagination. Or karma. The bias fueled Luca's anger, pushing him to research similar cases of hate crimes against gay couples in the area. High tension built at a family dinner Evelyn insisted on. At her Naperville home, decorated with religious icons, the air was electric. Mark announced their engagement properly. We're getting married. Evelyn gasped. Over my dead body. Tom sneered. You'll regret this. Society isn't as accepting as you think. Luca fired back. Society's changing. You're the dinosaurs. The argument escalated. Evelyn recounting Bible verses. Tom threatening to cut ties. Mark, torn, defended Luca but wavered under pressure. Maybe we slow down? Luca felt betrayed again. After everything? Storming out, Luca drove aimlessly, echoes of the family's words ringing. Coward, sinner, destroyer. Back home, Mark apologized. I panicked. I want this. But the damage lingered. Luca questioned his choices. Staying with a man who cheated, fighting a family that hated him. Was this love or masochism? As they reconciled in a tearful embrace, a knock came. Tom, looking grim. We need to talk. About the crash. Tom stood in their doorway, badge gleaming under the hall light. It's not an accident. Hit and run, but deliberate. Mark paled on the couch. What? Tom explained. Surveillance footage showed a car tailing Mark, ramming him off the road. Plates lead to a rental. Drivers in custody. A guy with a record for hate crimes. Luca's blood ran cold. Targeted because we're gay? Tom shifted uncomfortably. Possibly. He mentioned faggots ruining families. The revelation shattered the fragile peace. Evelyn arrived soon after, horrified. This is my fault? For not accepting. Tom admitted his own role. I vented to buddies at the precinct. Word spreads. Mark exploded. You put a target on us? Tom defended. I was angry. Didn't think it'd go this far. The family imploded. Accusations flying, tears flowing. Luca watched, a mix of fury and pity. In the aftermath, therapy intensified. Mark confronted his family. Your prejudice nearly killed me. Evelyn, in sessions, unpacked her fears. Losing her son to sin, societal judgment from church friends. I love you, but this. Mark held firm. Accept us or lose me. Tom, facing internal affairs for his loose talk, apologized gruffly. I was wrong, scared of change. But healing was slow. Luca grappled with resentment. Toward Mark for the affair, the family for their hate, society for its dangers. At the youth center, he channeled it into advocacy, organizing safety workshops, sharing their story anonymously. Love shouldn't cost your life, he'd say. Mark joined, finding purpose in vulnerability. Yet, mending their relationship tested them. Trust rebuilt brick by brick. Date nights, honest talks. But Jason's shadow lingered. One night, Mark confessed more. The affair started because I doubted myself. Your confidence intimidated me. Luca admitted his flaws. I pushed too hard, ignoring your pace. They recommitted, planning a small wedding. Evelyn's transformation was tentative. She attended a PFLAG meeting, tears in her eyes hearing similar stories. I don't understand, but I want to try. Tom, suspended briefly, reflected. Policing taught me to protect, but I failed my brother. Family dinners became awkward attempts at normalcy. Discussing weather, avoiding hot topics. High stakes rose when the trial approached. The driver, a radical from a fringe group, targeted Mark after seeing him at a pride event with Luca. Abominations, the manifesto read. Luca testified, voice steady. Our love isn't a threat. Hate is. Mark, from the stand, declared, I almost died hiding. No more. The family watched, Evelyn clutching Tom's hand. Conviction brought relief, but scars remained. Post-trial, Mark proposed again properly on a Chicago pier at sunset. Marry me, for real this time. Luca accepted, ring slipping on with hope. But doubts whispered. Could they withstand more storms? Wedding planning amplified conflicts. Evelyn offered help but suggested traditional elements.
Nor ambos. Luca quipped.
Tom volunteered security, a peace offering. Invites went out, but some relatives declined, citing moral issues. Mark's resolve hardened. Their loss. Luca's inner turmoil peaked during a bachelor party. Friends toasting their strength. But alone later, he questioned. Was forgiving Mark a mistake? The affair's pain resurfaced in dreams. Confronting Mark. How do I know it won't happen again? Mark vowed. Because I choose you, every day. The wedding day dawned bright. In a simple venue overlooking Lake Michigan, vows exchanged amid tears. Evelyn walked Mark down the aisle, a symbolic gesture. Tom stood as best man. I do, echoed, sealing their bond. But as guests mingled, a cousin whispered slurs, igniting a scene. Tom shut it down. Not here. Not ever. Honeymoon in New York brought bliss, but reality awaited. Back home, they pursued adoption, facing scrutiny. 2 dads? Stable? Mark's family advocated now, Evelyn writing letters of support. Tom connected them to resources. Growth hard-won. Yet, Luca pondered the cost. Emotional bruises, near loss. Was it worth it? As they built their life, a family at last, the answer emerged in quiet moments, yes, but with vigilance. Years passed, their marriage a testament to resilience. They adopted a boy, Liam, whose laughter filled their home. Mark thrived in his career, openly advocating for LGBTQ rights. Luca rose to director at the youth center, mentoring countless kids. Evelyn, now a grandmother doting on Liam, attended Pride with a rainbow pin. Tom implemented sensitivity training in the PD. But echoes of the past surfaced. At a family reunion, an uncle confronted Mark. You chose wrong. Ruined the bloodline. Evelyn shut him down. Love is love. Tom backed her. Luca watched, proud but wary. Change was fragile. Mark's health scare. A minor relapse from crash injuries, revived fears. In the hospital again, he held Luca's hand. We've come far.
Luca nodded.
Because we fought. Jason, long gone, sent a congrats card on their anniversary. Closure, not threat. Their story inspired others. A book deal, speaking gigs. But privately, Luca reflected on choices. Forgiving betrayal, enduring hate. Mark did too. I paid with guilt. You with pain. They agreed, the price forged stronger bonds. Liam's questions about their past prompted honest talks. Why did people hate you? Mark explained. Fear of different. Luca added. But love wins. The boy nodded, hugging them. In that, they found redemption. Yet, society lingered uneven. News of anti-gay bills, violence elsewhere, reminded them. Progress wasn't linear. At a rally, Mark spoke. We can't complacency. Luca beside him, fist raised. In quiet nights, doubts crept. Had Mark's affair been inevitable, given pressures? Was Luca's persistence selfish? They discussed. Evolving. Evelyn confessed over coffee. I was wrong. Blind. Tom admitted. My anger was fear. For you, Mark. Healing circled. Their 10th anniversary celebrated with family. Evelyn toasting. To love, in all forms. Tom joked. Even if it's sappy. Laughter eased old wounds. Liam performed a song, Innocent Joy. But the journey's toll showed. Therapy ongoing, trust vigilant. Luca wondered aloud one evening. Was it all worth the hurt? Mark smiled. Every scar led here. As they watched Liam play, Luca felt peace. The conflicts, internal, familial, societal, had tested, broken, rebuilt them. choices debated, right or wrong. In the end, they stood together, a family defiant. Was forgiving betrayal and enduring prejudice the ultimate act of strength, or a dangerous compromise that risks repeating history?